This was Indy 1991. High-tech racing, high speed, high-level excitement. Alan Sir Jr. defending the title. He won so impressively last year against the likes of the Andrettis, Fittipaldis, Mears and Rahal. A 17-race series from March to October. An original opening to the 91 season. FISA President Jean-Marie Balestre, annoyed at seeing CART outside the USA, raged, "There will be war." Certainly a battle on the track. Alan Sir Jr. going into the fastest chicane on the main beach straight into the wall. Mario Andretti and Eddie Cheever concerned too. All hell breaking loose as Michael Andretti's brakes failed and Arie Luyendyk went up, down and out. The winner was an Andretti, John Andretti, for the first time in the Pennzoil Lola Chevrolet, claiming victory by over 13 seconds, averaging 82 miles an hour. His first ever Indy race win in his 5th year after 39 starts. Rahal second, despite gear shift difficulties. Mears 1.1 second behind in 3rd place. Big crowd, great debut down under. Main Beach, Queensland to Long Beach, California a month later. Alan Sir Jr., the favourite after a hat-trick of wins at Long Beach. Lap 2, smoothly inside pole position man Michael Andretti and into the lead. "I don't think he was expecting that," said Al afterwards. Michael's certainly not expecting this. Number 5, Emerson Fittipaldi, lap 70, waved out of the pits and into the path of Michael Andretti, accelerating hard from 100 yards back. Nobody hurt. Andretti, understandably though, bewildered. It was Unser who made it 4 in a row at Long Beach, 4 seconds ahead of Rahal, with Eddie Cheever 3rd. 2 rounds had been completed on 2 different street circuits on 2 different continents. 15 rounds to go. Unser in pole position. Andretti had only 2 points to show for his 2 first-place starts. Phoenix, Arizona, the adopted home of Dutchman Arie Luyendyk. On lap 33, Scott Goodyear slammed into the wall, the first caution of the race. Luyendyk stayed out, not in the pits. Race engineer Mo Nunn's gamble paying off, and Luyendyk paying tribute to the astute Nunn after the race. Rahal always looking for his first race win since Meadowlands in 1989, expecting Luyendyk to pit. But a late yellow aided the Dutch cause. The caution when the Lola Alpha of Danny Sullivan failed with 2 laps of the race to go. The finish under yellows. Luyendyk the winner. Delight for his wife Mika in pit road. The second IndyCar race win for Luyendyk. His first, of course, that momentous 1990 Indy 500 victory. What a way to prepare for the defense of America's most important title. An average of 130 miles an hour, coming through from 9th on the grid. The 3rd different winner in 3 Indy races. Bobby Rahal leading the way in the title race after 3 consecutive second places, 11 points ahead of Rick Mears. Rahal, the popular 38-year-old from Ohio, the only man to have completed every lap of the season at that point. The jewel in the crown of the kart season, the Indianapolis 500. The 75th running of the event started in 1911 on the old Brickyard. The first closed motor racing circuit in the world, Ray Haroon in a Marmon Was, the first ever winner. Other names to be engraved on the huge Borg Warner trophy include Britain's Jimmy Clark and Graham Hill in 65 and 66. One of the 3 most prestigious races in the world, alongside Le Mans and Monaco. It's changed massively over the years, not least in prize money. Over $6 million available, more than $1 million for the winner alone, and the speed an average 75 miles an hour in 1911, 185 miles an hour in 1991. And also this year, what was expected to be the last appearance of the great 56-year-old A.J. Foyt, 4 times a winner. The Indy 500 after the break. unique atmosphere and flavour of Indianapolis. A mecca for race fans from all over the States and indeed from all over the world. This year, with the Formula One race in Canada scheduled for the following week, various Grand Prix characters took the opportunity to survey the Indy scene, despite the Cold War that still existed between CART and FISA after Surfers Paradise. Plenty to amuse them, though Jean-Marie Balestre didn't attend the bingo, nor was he to be seen in Gasoline Alley. Gasoline Alley, the centre of attraction for the bulk of the 250,000 race fans who attended over the weekend. Rick Mears, 3 times a winner, his 14th Indy, favourite to win for Roger Penske. Also on the front row, AJ Foyt qualified brilliantly on the opening practice weekend, but had he recovered properly from the leg injuries suffered at Road America a year before. Mario Andretti completing a veteran's front row. He won the race in 1969, plagued with bad luck since, as he the stamina to run 500 miles. Rahal inside of row 2, second at Indy in 1990, first in 1986, the current championship leader, brilliant on his day. Michael Andretti in the centre of row 2. Never won at Indianapolis, 4th in 1988, his best finish to date. Alan Sir Jr. on row 2, hoping to continue the family tradition. His father, Al, and his uncle Bobby, both past winners. John Andretti, brilliant start to the season and seemingly getting faster. His 4th Indy 500 appearance. Jim Crawford, the 43-year-old Scot from Dunfermline, who drove for Lotus in 1975, his 5th Indy 500 start. And Danny Sullivan, the ex-Tyrrell Formula One star of 1983, who returned to America and won the Indy 500 in 1985. On row 4, another ex-Formula One star there in Eddie Cheever. Row 5, 2 former winners in Lion Dyke and Fittipaldi. Coming up on row 6, Michael Grove, who'd graduated through the ARS Junior Series. He was champion there 2 years ago. Row 7, Bernard Jourdain, one of the famous names from sports car racing. Another famous sports car racer, Jeff Brabham, 3 times IMSA world champion, and Matsushita, the first Japanese driver ever at Indy. Row 9, Scott Pruitt, back after a season out injured. Row 10, the popular Willie T. Ribbs in the Bill Cosby-sponsored Lola. Row 11, Randy Lewis, 45 years old, his 5th Indy. Pancho Carter, 40 years old in his 17th. Gordon Johncock, 54 years old, twice a winner in his 22 Indies. Andretti's aplenty. John from the Hall VDS team, the only Andretti winner by this stage in 1991. Michael and his wife Sandra. Indy not a happy hunting ground for Andretti's in the past. The favourite Rick Mears, cool as ever, not won since the opening race of the 1990 season. 33 cars ready for the 75th Indy 500. Combination of a month of preparation for the 2.5-mile oval. Danny Sullivan from Louisville, Kentucky, crashed badly in 1990, drove with a broken arm in '89.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
The rain that had threatened to disrupt proceedings stopped the race underway only an hour late. Could well have been a day. Most of the cars built in England, Penske in Dorset, March in Oxfordshire, Lola in Cambridgeshire. The Indy cavalry charge begins. The green flag flies. Mears, Foyt, Andretti into turn 1. And coming out, Mears, Andretti, Foyt in that order. Michael Andretti and Alanza going well. Young chargers after the experienced vets. The early yellow when Bettenhausen got himself sideways and Buddy Lazier spun as a result. Michael Andretti in car, 3rd on lap 10. He was second on lap 11 when he got past Mears and in behind Dad Mario. Kevin Kogan clipped Roberto Guerrero. And for these two running in the middle of the pack, green fields and pastures new. Guerrero okay, but Kogan with a broken arm and leg, and he was hospitalized just 3 years after a similar accident in Toronto had broken his arm and disrupted his career. But Guerrero, amazingly, getting out of that wreck unscathed. The end for AJ Foyt. The car had collected some of the debris from Kogan and Guerrero. It was irreparable and a quiet end to a great career at Indy. The only driver to have won the Indy 500, the Daytona 500 and the Le Mans 24 Hours. The end of the fastest overall qualifier, Gary Bettenhausen, in his 19th Indy 500. But the cheers are for this man, AJ Foyt. There are a few active sporting legends left, and this one won't be active for much longer. Lap 33, Michael passed Mario with Alan Jr. in attendance, Rahal, Mears, John Andretti, Fittipaldi and Scott Brayton, the order behind. Michael Andretti in charge, steadily pulling away, and little doubt that this man had the best car on the circuit in the early stages. Rick Mears, having started in pole position, was now back in fourth, suffering from understeer and under pressure from a hard-charging Alan Jr. He'd clawed his way through the field. This stage, Mears was dropping back, running over 30 seconds behind the race leader, Michael Andretti. Mears, 3 times a winner, and well aware of what it takes. Lap 84, the end for the Finn Tero Palmroth as the Cosworth engine gives up, and Palmroth, exhausted, gets himself out of the car. Fittipaldi into the pits, desperately needing something to improve his handling. Had been running in second place. The stop to change tyres cost him that position. The arrows indicating the way forward. Information supplied on a need-to-know basis. The information gleaned from the Fittipaldi car also improved the Penske Chevrolet of Mears, and that improved out of all recognition. Mears from 6th to 3rd, but half a lap behind Fittipaldi, who came out from this pit stop and retook the lead from Michael Andretti. 70 laps to go. Rahal relegated from 3rd place with an engine that started to misfire and belch smoke. Disappointment for the championship leader, still without a race win for over 18 months. And that pit stop spelt the end of his Indy challenge. 3/4 distance, and after a yellow, the field closed up. Michael Andretti, Emerson Fittipaldi, Rick Mears, the 1, 2, 3. Mears doing the chasing. Andretti and Fittipaldi seemingly evenly matched until Andretti found a little extra. Andretti ahead, championship runner-up in 1990. No wins in 1991, but with the interested gaze of Formula One bosses upon him, desperate to promote himself. Wife Sandra nervously watching from the pits. 16 laps left, 44 miles to go. Fittipaldi out with clutch failure. Sullivan's Alpha joined the retirements. And with the yellow out, Mario and Michael were in for a quick splash and dash. Mears went into the lead when battle resumed. Four abreast, the Beach Boys song, like a Roman chariot race now. Mears and Michael Andretti, Al Jr. and John Andretti all involved. At the end of it all, Michael Andretti into first place. Mears holding on to second, chasing after the aggressive Andretti. That was the difference between these two for the 75th Indy 500. Mears closing all the time on Andretti. Up, taking the high side. And for the first time ever, Mears had taken the lead at Indy by going on an outside pass. Wife Chris. Gradually, Mears eased away. The difference between Mears and Andretti going up to about 3 seconds with 6 minutes left of the race. Mears leading, in charge of his 13th Indy 500. Michael Andretti requiring a yellow to get back in touch. Speed undiminished, running at an average of 177 miles an hour. "12 laps to go, 4 minutes left, 4 seconds between Mears and Andretti, and closing. Half an hour before, it seemed like Michael Andretti had got the race in his pocket. Then Mears' crew suddenly worked a magic formula on his car. Watching and waiting, Chris and Sandra. Sterling work by the 39-year-old from Wichita, Kansas, who now lives in California. Car working perfectly, the driver in top form. Michael Andretti's prayers are answered thanks to Father Mario, stranded at the end of the pit lane. 10 laps to go. And a wry smile from Sandra Andretti. She realizes what had happened. A puzzle for Chris Mears. If it lasts too long, there's no benefit for Andretti. Pace car out, leading round the bunched up field once again. The caution lasted for 5 laps. The chance for Andretti to pull off a remarkable victory. Back racing. Mears once again showing that he had the superior machinery over Andretti. The greatest supporters of these two feeling the tension. Over Mears' shoulder goes one more lap, accelerating hard, using 5th and 6th gears, and up to 220 miles an hour. Mears doing a brilliant job for the team that he joined in 1976. Team boss Roger Penske, over 30 years in motor racing. Intense excitement on the sidelines and on the track. 5 laps to go. Michael Andretti needing a little more time to find the answer to the blistering speed of Rick Mears. Using all the width of the track to pick up every bit of speed that he can. But Mears is that speck in the distance. Counting down, fingers crossed. Mears opening the gap once again. But Indies have been won and lost in the closing stages. Mears, with 3 already behind him, wins, that is. Knew precisely what was required. Superb performance by 2 drivers, the very peak of their form. Michael Andretti suffering as Carl Haas did, the co-owner with Paul Newman of the Andretti car. Towards the finish. Talking of Indies won and lost in the very closing stages, only 2 years ago, Fittipaldi clinched it from Alonso Jr. after a collision on the penultimate lap. That work-stained Penske Chevrolet thundering round. Top speed, light fuel load, and a driver intent on taking the checkered flag. Even in the cockpit, they could hear the cheers of the crowd and the wives willing them on. Onto the last lap of the 250. Mears in front, Michael Andretti in second place. Brilliant drive by Mears. Michael Andretti having to settle for second in perhaps his last Indy 500 for a while, with Formula One in the form of McLaren and Ferrari beckoning. Exhausting. Mears glancing up for the checkered flag. Out it comes. Rick Mears, 182 races, 28 wins, 4 of them at Indy in 3 different decades. A record 8th for Roger Penske. The tension lifted at last, but disappointment further down pit road. Well, there's going to be a party tonight. One very happy lady, and in number 3, one delighted gent. Mears first, Michael Andretti second, Ari Luyendyk home third in the Uno Granatelli car, first last year, so we know exactly how Mears feels now. Grueling but stirring performance, a triumph for an essentially modest but very professional man. And after doing everything right on the track, it seems that he can't quite remove the helmet. Mears strangely embarrassed by his wife's enthusiasm.
Rick, congratulations on that restart. Not the last one, but the one before. Michael Andretti blew by you. And then it was like just another lap, and you said nothing doing. What was going through your mind?
Well, that was that last lap I usually talk about, or the last end of the race. That's when you do it when it's necessary. And we got down there, and you know, we had a run at him from a little toe on the straightaway, and I said, oh, there's nothing to lose now. We got to go or not. And so I just went ahead and ran it up on top and went around the outside, and we were thankful the car was working just absolutely great, and it just, you know, everything went our way. When it's your day, it's your day. What can I say?
Mears by 3.2 seconds from Michael Andretti. Only those two on the lead lap. Luyendyk in third place. Fourth, Alonso Jr., a quiet race for him. Fifth, John Andretti, 12 laps down. Sixth, the 54-year-old veteran Gordon Johncock, his best finish for 9 years. Coming up, the rest of the Indy season on Screensport. 1 week on from Indianapolis, Rick Mears, after a week of banquets and conferences, claimed pole position at bumpy Milwaukee. But it was the Andretti's with a flying start that took them into first and second place. Alonso leading briefly up to lap 63 till he was in trouble. Mears improving on his setup. He was ahead by lap 107, but fell back with ignition problems. And it was Mario, John and Michael. Michael winning at a canter, his first win of the year, 22 seconds ahead of cousin John. Mario a lap back. Rahal, the championship leader, again fourth, but only 2 points ahead of Mears in the title race. Michael Andretti, with that win at Milwaukee, now third in the championship. Motown in mid-June, Michael Andretti, a good start from pole position, matched by Lyondike from row 2, eclipsing Fittipaldi. Lyondike leading after a yellow on lap 10 and clipping Michael Andretti round the tight right-hander. Those two damaged. Rahal going into first place after Lyondike's pit stop. Rahal himself having to pit 3 laps later. Then this tow truck causing the trouble. Out to collect Dennis Fitolo, hit by Mario Andretti. No sooner had they inspected the damage there than Michael arrives. Clearly unsatisfactory for both drivers, although Mario was repaired and eventually finished 7th. When the race resumed an hour later, Michael's title chances have been dented as completely as his car. Fittipaldi in first place, his first victory of the season for the 89th champion. 44 years old now, 13 Indy wins to add to his 14 in Formula One. Fittipaldi, Rahal second again, the 4th time in 5 races. Lyondike third, finished every race to this point in the season. Alonso Jr. 4th, also on the lead lap. Rick Mears and John Andretti again scoring important points. But question marks about the handling of that incident that cost Andretti a win. West Coast USA, the race decided early on when Michael Andretti from row 2 plunged between Fittipaldi and Mears for first place. Danny Sullivan's disappointing season in the Lola Alpha continued, out after 6 laps. Michael Andretti trying hard to find a way past Scott Pruitt. The lead dropped from 15 seconds to 3. Pruitt holding up the leader for 15 laps. Eventually Andretti through to take the checkered flag. 4 seconds ahead of Fittipaldi, with Rahal another 36 seconds behind. Alonso Jr. made 4th place. Famous names in 5th and 6th. Race speed for the 104 laps, 115 miles an hour. Looking at the standings, Rahal 14 points ahead of Mears, 16 in front of Michael Andretti. 7 races out of 17 completed. Even Fittipaldi, 59 points in 6th place, not out of it yet. Wide open spaces of Cleveland, Ohio in the heat and humidity of July. Fittipaldi qualifying on pole, Mario Andretti second on the airport circuit, but Alonso Jr. from the 2nd row shook them both, but not for long. Fittipaldi into the lead again on the next lap, but he lost first place to Michael Andretti when Andretti shadowed him for 2 laps before eventually pulling out of his slipstream. Andretti through past Fittipaldi, showing everybody the way to do it. This is the way not to do it. Scott Pruitt, who qualified 6th, the first out after 4 laps. Michael Andretti skating through the heat haze and on for another victory. High fives in the pit road. Great result for Andretti after some tough racing at Cleveland. Andretti first, second in the championship now, 10 points behind Rahal. Fittipaldi second on the day, Rahal a solid third. Alonso Jr. only fourth after that good start. Luyendyk showing up well again. He's third in the championship. Mario Andretti claiming sixth place at Cleveland. The shadow of the Giants Stadium in New Jersey. The 1.2-mile track round the massive parking lot. Bobby Rahal, without a race win all season, although he still led the championship, needed a good performance. Michael Andretti overheating after 108 laps. Mears taken by Alonso Jr. with 20 of the 150 to go. At the checkered flag, Rahal, a winner again at last. Somebody lend Debbie a hanky. Rahal first in the championship now by 31 points from Andretti. Unser now up to third as Mears slipped back. From New Jersey north to Toronto, hot and humid again. Michael Andretti and Alonso Jr. down the early stages until Unser. His suspension failed in a big way. Fittipaldi was running second until a lengthy pit stop put him back. Rick Mears, with a major engine blowout, failed too. Michael Andretti dominated the rest of proceedings with Mario in second place. Rahal in a vain pursuit, but picking up useful points. Michael and Mario first and second, a great result for Newman Haas Lola. Michael closing on Rahal in the championship. The minor placings, Pruitt's fourth was his best of the season to that stage. Bumpy high bank 2-mile circuit, cool for karts. The appearance in Roger Penske's home state, marked by cloudy weather. Immediate celebrations, Mears on pole, Fittipaldi alongside him. But before long, Andretti led the way. Lap 3, Canadian Paul Tracy, the ARS champion from 1990, running sixth, tried to pass Scott Brayton and went heavily into the wall. Tracy suffering multiple fractures to his left leg, unfortunately. Debris absolutely everywhere. That was collected by Pruitt and Matsushita, putting them out of the race. The lengthy yellow. The race resumed, and Tracy's accident, the result of an elementary error, running too close to Brayton, losing downforce and control. Black flag due for Arie Luyendyk. He'd been ahead, but then he got on the pace too early, lap before the green, and so a stop and go penalty for Luyendyk dropped him from first to third. That promoted Mears, rattling round at over 167 miles an hour. By the last lap, Luyendyk was the nearest challenger, with Eddie Cheever having dropped out from second. There was nobody else on the lead lap. Mears in front. And we've seen those elfin good looks before. And rather like at Indy, Mears in complete control with Luyendyk in vain pursuit. Mears on his way to his second win of the season and his second 500 win of the year. The first driver for 9 years to win 2 500s in one season. Back to third in the championship for Mears. But still, a long way to go. 11 of 17 rounds completed. Rahal 24 ahead of Michael Andretti. Andretti retiring at Michigan with engine trouble. To the Rocky Mountains High in late August. Street circuit of Denver, becoming something like Hyde Park Corner in London. All it needed with the black cabs and some CS gas. Tight, nasty street circuit. Mario Andretti and Chiva too close for comfort. Lyondike and Mears also affected. Michael Andretti closing on this lug jam. Just look at the right front wheel on the Lola. Green for go. Michael Andretti and Rahal, the championship leaders, first and second. One stage, both of them spinning and dropping 24 seconds, allowing Al Unser Jr. to take over in first place. Rahal's pit stop on lap 28. And this, unfortunately, proving to be the end of play for the day for Bobby. Michael pursuing Al, a lap down after a puncture. Scott Brayton, the 32-year-old local man, on lap 45, sideways into the wall. Mario, none too keen on events. From Mario's perspective, not much you could do about it if you were on the racing line. Leader, Al Unser Jr. In second place, Emerson Fittipaldi now. Around this tight street circuit of Denver, no time or road to spare. 70 laps, 133 miles. That's short by IndyCar standards. Shelley Unser's absolutely delighted at the champion's second victory of the season. Fittipaldi in second, Michael in third, an excellent result in championship terms. Cheever and Pruitt and Willie T earning big points as well. Canada again, a 68,000 crowd at Vancouver. Pole position, Michael Andretti. Bobby Rahal going for broke though, off the line. Andretti out braking him halfway through lap 1, which took him back into the lead. Look at that for a great pass. Earning the applause of everybody round the track. And his men down there in the pit lane. Haven't seen the last of Rahal. Once again, he was second for the 5th time this season. Proving to be a terrific competitor without quite being able to pull out the results. Michael Home in first place, the 5th victory of the year from him. Al Unser Jr. claiming 3rd. The championship, with 13 of 17 races completed, seemed to be between those 3. Mid-Ohio, Lexington, mid-September, 89 laps, 200 miles. Michael Andretti dominated practice. Was challenged early on in the race by Mears, but eventually stormed into a 5-second lead after 7 laps. Andretti, Mears, Rahal in 3rd place, Pruitt, Fittipaldi and Mario following. Mears dropping back, delayed by a loose wheel. Yellows allowed Fittipaldi to close the gap. Fittipaldi not changing tyres at his last pit stop to save time, but it was Andretti once again coming through after a poor start to the season to claim his 7th race win of the year. It was a convincing one too, although there was only 4 seconds between first and second at the end, with Rahal in 3rd place. Pruitt, Unser and Mears all on the chase, but some 13 seconds adrift. Going to look at the standings. Andretti leading the championship for the first time in the year with just 3 rounds to go. Couldn't Andretti's name be engraved once again on the IndyCART Championship trophy? Lake in Wisconsin, Rahal on pole position, Unser second, Michael Andretti third. It was Unser who was away well from the start. Andretti up to second by the end of the first lap on this. Very much a driver's circuit, long straights, fast, tight corners, 4 miles round. Unser and Michael Andretti pulling away from the rest of the field in the 200-mile race. Twice Andretti got ahead after pit stops. Twice Al Unser Jr. managed to haul him back in. Fascinating duel between these two second-generation drivers from famous families. Michael Andretti with really only one problem all weekend, and that was in the pits when he stalled, but he recovered brilliantly from that. Towards the end of the race, light rain started to fall on some parts of the circuit, becoming a driver's nightmare. Andretti making the most of Unser's uncertainty in the rain, and he careered on to take the checkered flag. Michael Andretti claiming yet another victory. Terrific result for him. His form improving all the time, the car getting better. Unser in second place. Mario Andretti getting through for third and demoting Bobby Rahal to a disappointing fourth. Michael Andretti leading the championship by 13 points from Bobby Rahal. Nazareth, motor racing's most famous dynasty, the Andrettis, on their home track in Pennsylvania. Only 0.94 of a mile round, the tri-oval, 200 laps scheduled. Lyondike and Rahal it was who destroyed the Andretti ambition. Lyondike in particular, excellent fuel economy on his car, and that paid off. Rahal was in the lead with 5 laps to go but had to pit. Lyondike stayed out, and so he claimed first place, Rahal running second. Rahal, after his splash and dash, set the fastest lap of all, less than 21 seconds for the mile, and started to close the gap on Lyondike. Two laps to go and nothing in it. Lyondike, though, opening out to put in a 20.88 second lap. That kept him ahead of Rahal, going on to the last lap by 0.04 of a second. Brilliant stuff, watched intently from the side by everybody. At the flag, the difference 0.7 of a second, a tactical victory for Lyondike. His second of the season after winning earlier in Phoenix. Rahal second, so the championship still alive for him. Andretti third. 12 points separated Michael Andretti and Bobby Rahal with 1 round to go. The brilliant artwork of Leroy Nyman. He's followed kart racing and the Andrettis particularly since 1984. Though he does appreciate other talents. Last round of the championship, Laguna Seca, California, late October. The season had begun back in March in Australia. 17 races, the title race was still open. Michael Andretti began the weekend well, taking the $5.25 million first prize Marlboro Challenge on the Saturday. On the Sunday, starting from pole position with Rick Mears alongside him, he made an aggressive start, determined to cling on to first place. Michael Andretti first, challenged by Fittipaldi, Mears, Mario Andretti, Rahal and Unser. Almost synchronized spinning from Lyondike and Willie T. Ribbs. Lyondike away, leaving a cloud of dust behind. Willie T. requiring a little assistance. Michael Andretti and Fittipaldi in the battle for first place. Andretti's interest basically, though, on where was Rahal. Outgoing champion Alan Jr. No looking back for him. Now taking the high road while Rahal pits, moving into position behind John Andretti. And Rahal, who'd started the season so consistently and with a very reliable car, suddenly finding that the machinery was letting him down. That was the end of his challenge. Rahal out with engine trouble, oil and water lost from the car in huge quantities. Out on the track, Michael Andretti kept on running. With Rahal out, Andretti was the champion for the first time. So following in father's tyre tracks, Mario had won 4 times between 1966 and 1984. Very close teammates, Fittipaldi and Mears, too close at times. Fittipaldi in number 5 fiddling with a loose water bottle and almost being punted into the barriers by Rick Mears. Somehow both managed to continue. Andretti on his way to an 8th victory out of 17 races. Great champion. He says that he's staying put at Haas for another year. The deal with Ferrari in Formula One was not closed. The Andretti era started in 1964 with Mario in IndyCars, and it's not finished yet. Fittipaldi running down there in 4th place. Michael in the lead. 129 races, and this is 22nd win. Andretti first, defending champion Alan Jr. an appropriate 2nd, Mario in 3rd place. Fittipaldi finishing 4th. That was the order in the closing stages. Rick Mears and Eddie Cheever claiming 5th and 6th. So Andretti the champion by 34 points from Rahal. Alan Jr. 37 points behind in 3rd. Andretti, though, with a classic way to end a championship winning season. Checkered flag for Michael Andretti.
Michael, this is the moment. This is the moment that you've dreamed about, that you've waited for so very, very long, and you end up not only with a championship, but with another race win.
Oh, thank God. I mean, you don't know how long I prayed for this one. It's just fantastic. I just can't believe it. I mean, it's too overwhelming. What a weekend. I mean, winning, you know, the Marlboro Challenge and the race and the championship. Oh, God, I can't believe it.
So, Michael Andretti, 34 points ahead of Bobby Rahal at the finish. The day and the year belonging to Michael. Brother Jeff named Rookie of the Year for IndyCar in 1991. At the end of it all, an Andretti is champion again.